Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to all of the books that I read in October. So I read 8 books, which I think is pretty good with life's busyness. Right now, both my kids are sick, so just stay at home, the rain, it's just hard to find time to read. I don't know. But either way, 8 books I think is pretty good with everything going on. This month I've read quite a variety of things. So honestly, I'm just not gonna go into my least favorite working up to my favorite because that's usually what I do. This time I'm just going to go with the order I read them because that's just easiest for me. First of the month was a total random read. I'm not going to lie. It was a cover like read, honestly, and that is The Good Girls of Maple Lane by Jacqueline Firkins. I gave this one a 3 out of 5. It was cute. It wasn't anything memorable. I'm not gonna lie, like seasonal covers get to me. If you have a dog on the cover with leaves and scarves and stuff, chances are I'll probably read it. But most of the time, they're just like okay. They're not anything like super memorable. That's bad to say. But either way, this was a cute one. I'd say if you're a dog lover, this is a must. So this is about a character named Cameron, and she basically is trying to be a vet, and she is not doing good financially and stuff, but she is on this list to foster a dog. And so she gets a call from this foster place saying, you know, we have this dog and like you're a last ditch effort. It is a very, very overweight golden retriever because he was neglected and no one took care of him. They just fed him and chained him. And he's going to need a lot of rehab, a lot of love, a lot of like, you know, weight loss thing. And Jacqueline meets him because it reminds her so much of her previous dog. She's like, I can't say no. And so I forget what the dog's name is. Aggie. Oh, actually, she doesn't have a name, so she calls her Aggie, like Agatha Christie. And so, like Agatha Christie. And so she brings Aggie home, and it's all about that. Her kind of rehabilitating the dog, falling in love with it, eventually adopting it, helping her to lose weight. She starts even like a TikTok where it becomes viral like that because people love dogs, obviously. And there she meets kind of one of her neighbors in her apartment complex. It's Everett, who helps her a lot. And then it's kind of also a camaraderie with her friends and on her apartment building floor. And it's cute. It's wholesome. It's not anything to write home about. I'd say if you just want a really cute, like autumnal dog book, then yeah, check it out. But it wasn't anything like I'm like obsessed with, but I did enjoy it. So 3 out of 5. Next up, I read Taurus Season by Bryn Weaver. And I think this officially confirms I am not a dark romance girl. Like I had to really trudge this one. It's just not me. I'm not that type of person. And that is okay. If you're a dark romance lover, that is awesome. I'm not. I don't know. It just is not me. But this was an interesting one. Following Nolan and Harper. Harper lives in this town called Cape Carnage where they really play into the name. She's a gardener and she maybe, you know, people and like feeds them to her like shredder that shreds mulch. Yeah, it's freaking very, very graphic. And everything's going hunky-dory until Nolan Road shows up in town because Nolan has got some vengeance to seek and he feels that Harper is the last person he has to get his vengeance. And so basically they began kind of a very like hate-love relationship, a lot of gore, a lot of like mysteries going about. I liked it. I think Bryn Weaver is very talented. I've just learned like I bought this book because it sounded interesting to me. Like it sounds really cool, but it's just really, really graphic and a little bit too much for me on the dark romance side with the gore and stuff. So, you know, Bryn Weaver is just not the author for me, but I can see why people love her, 100%. Sorry, you're going to hear coughing children in the background because sickness is here. I love fall. I really, really do. But the sicknesses it brings, I'm not a fan. But either way, 3.5 out of 5. Solid. I just will not be continuing on with the series. Next up, I read Rachel Harrison's new book, Play Nice. Now, Rachel Harrison is like kind of an October staple for me, September, October. She usually releases books in those months, and she's just a very spooky, autumnal author for me. So her latest book is about a haunted house. And so this book follows a character named Cleo, who has 2 sisters, and they learn that their mother has passed away. And they have a very tumultuous relationship with their mother. They've never really got along with her. The mom has always said that there is a demon in the house where they lived because it's just haunted and all that stuff, and that's made her like an alcoholic and abusive. So when she passes, all the sisters have very mixed feelings about it, but the mom, of course, leaves this haunted, creepy house to the daughters. None of the daughters want anything to do with it but Cleo. Cleo is an influencer, and she's like, I'm going to get some money when I can. I'm not going to falter for that. She's going to redo it, make a series about it, things like that, but she has to stay in the house. And of course, maybe, just maybe, she learns that her mom wasn't lying after all. there is a demon in the house. Who would have thought? That's what this whole book is about. If you don't know Rachel Harrison, yes, it's spooky, but also her books have a bigger, broader picture. This one's about sisterhood and about also the tumultuous family upbringing with the mom and things like that. So family's really the heart of this book, but the house was creepy. I wanted a little bit more creepiness, dare I say, but overall, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It's not one of my favorite Rachel Harrison books. I think those are always going to be, I love Such Sharp Teeth. That's her werewolf one, and I love her Black Sheep one. Those are some of my favorites, and I do love Cackle as well, but I still really enjoy her books, honestly. I really will read them every Halloween season. Keeping up with the paranormal theme, I read Road Trip with a Vampire by Jenna Levine. This is her third and final book in her like vampire series, and they're fun. Are they anything like super amazing? No, but they're a good time. My favorite in the series continues to be the first one, My Roommate is a Vampire. The second one was My Vampire Plus one. I wasn't a fan of that. This one was really cute. So this book follows a character named Zelda, who has always been talked about in the series as she's been known as Griselda, like the infamous witch that has caused mischief for centuries. Now she is Zelda and she owns a yoga studio. And there she meets a guy named Peter who is a vampire, only he has amnesia. Her friend from the second book sent him to her and he's like, maybe you can help because you're a witch and stuff like that. And so pretty much they go on this road trip because he's written a journal of things, places he went to, and they're just going to go to those places and see if it sparks up his memory and, you know, conjures it up again. And so basically this is a witch vampire romance. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Super cute. I'm sad to see this series ends. I'd say if you just want like kind of a paranormal spooky romance, really scary and things like that, this is a great series. It does have a little bit of steam, but overall they're just a cute and good time. I read a book. I was not planning to read it all, but I'm not gonna lie, like the cover got to me, everyone talking about it got to me, and that is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I have only read one Stephanie Garber book in the past, and that is Caraval. I read that years ago when I was reading exclusively YA. I liked it, I didn't love it. This is like her first foray into like adult kind of fantasy stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. Is it kind of an odd book that doesn't make a lot of sense? Abso-freaking-lutely. But the vibes were immaculate. The setting, I really enjoyed it. It was very old Hollywood glamour type of stuff, and I ate that up. We follow Holland, who's in college, and she takes this class called Folklore 517, and her professor like tells her all of these folklores, especially about like old Hollywood and things like that. Everything is coded, even the locations of their classes and things like that. And basically what happens is she actually finds out one of these folklores because she's heard about this guy named the Watchman, and she's found him, and he can tell you exactly when you're going to, you know, bite the bullet. And so she figures out that she has one night left to live unless she finds the alchemy heart. The alchemic heart, is that right? Yeah, the alchemy heart. And so basically she is pulled into this whole different world of magic and folklore and people she can't trust, all trying to find this alchemy heart that millions of other people are trying to find as well. It's a book steeped in like magical lore, also old Hollywood glamour and things like that. Like honestly, hearing it doesn't make any sense, but I don't know why. I really enjoyed the way she wrote it. I enjoyed the characters. I know it's a series and I will be continuing on with the series because I liked it. Like it was a good time. It wasn't so like info dumpy where I couldn't understand it, but there was a lot of parts I'm like, this makes no sense at all, but I still had a good time with it. So a 4 it shall get. I do enjoy the cover, but I will say I've seen a lot of like special different covers and those are freaking chef's kiss. I even love like this right here, like very Barco, is that the right word? Just kind of like old, like Great Gatsby-esque, if you could say, you know? I don't know why, I just ate that up. Like it's got that great setting. I really, really enjoyed it and I'm very surprised. It might be my favorite book of the month. I would have never thought that. I read Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is the sequel / companion to Bride, which is one of my favorite books from last year. Loved it. Bride is a vampire werewolf romance. This is a wolf. It's werewolf, I should probably say. I sadly did not love this one nearly as much as Bride. I gave Bride like a full 5. I would probably give this one a 4, honestly. I just didn't jive 100% with the romance. It was like 70% there for me. But basically, if you don't know, and I don't want to spoil the first one for you, but this follows Serena, who is a werewolf, and she is having a hard time. She's like a hybrid. She's like not quite fully werewolf, but not quite fully human. So she's very much like, people are like, what the heck are you? But you learn that at the very end of Bride that she is mated to Cohen, who is a really big pack leader. And so this whole book is a will they, won't they. They're very much attracted to each other, but they don't ever act on those feelings. It gets steamy. There's a lot of like heat stuff. Like it's it's bananas, honestly. But I did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it as much as Bride. I will say that. But I mean, like, I love Allie Hazelwood. I don't know if this is the end of her series. It might be. I would like her to continue more to the paranormal one. I just tend to like vampire ones, I guess. But still, like, it's a solid werewolf one. Speaking of wolves, I read Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte Mahanahay. I always have a hard time. She wrote Wild Dark Shore, which is no secret, my favorite book of the year, as well as a lot of people's. And I wanted to continue to read some of her backlist. She has this one, and I believe she has Migrations. This one is all about wolves. Like, not werewolves, just actual wolves. So this book follows a character named Inti, who she arrives in the Scottish Highlands because she's a part of this team that are kind of releasing wolves back into the Scottish Highlands because they've been extinct in there for a while and they want to try to revitalize the forest and things like that. And so that is what the whole book is about. She also has a twin sister that has gone through a lot of trauma, and as the book goes on, you piece together what trauma that is. Also, this town, it's a very small farming town. They are very reluctant to let the wolves back into the forest because they're like, they're going to kill my livestock. They're going to kill my sheep. We're going to kill the wolves instead. And so the whole book is about that. It's also about kind of the wolves within us, like the big kind of creatures within us and how scary and turbulent they can be. It's no secret she has a beautiful way of writing nature, like dark and ethereal and lyrical. I did not like it nearly as much as Wild Dark Shore. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I kind of wanted more wolf action, but I will say, like, she really respects wolves and their dynamic and how just beautiful and dangerous they are, because they are, I love nature, and I love like her that she writes nature and really puts a big emphasis on it, but also there's a lot of inner turmoil with the characters, especially with her sister and the town and stuff. I would say if you love Wild Dark Shore, you definitely need to read this one. It's a perfect time to read it because, like I said, wolf season is kind of like winter and stuff like that, and you know, I really did enjoy it. The last book I read is The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand with her daughter Shelby Cunningham. This is very much a, I want to describe it like boarding school, like gossip girly book, if you will. So this book takes place at Tiffin Academy, which is a boarding school in Vermont, like just northeast. And, you know, they have a very small class of like 200 kids. They have like 6 formers, 5 formers, all that kind of stuff. And in this book, like true Ellen Hildebrand books, you follow a multitude of characters. You just get to see the head of the school, you get to see some of the teachers, you get to see some of the students, and it's all taking place throughout the whole school year of what's going on. Like, it starts in September and ends in June, and kind of the drama that unfolds, because there is a lot of drama in this book. I liked it. I gave it a 4. It was fun. I do think there was a lot of questions unanswered, dare I say, at the end of it. Like, I remember ending it and I was like, what about XYZ? We didn't talk about that at all. Why are we not going to talk about it? Is this going to be a series? If not, what was the point of introducing those plots? Like, there's this email plot that is talked about very heavily, and by the end, we don't talk about it at all. And I'm like, what's the resolution for that? I don't know. But I mean, is this going to be a hit for everybody? No. If you just want a boarding school full of like rich kids that just have first real problems, and teachers that are just so like, some teachers I'm like, how do you have this job? And it's interesting in that, like, if you're a Gossip Girl fan, yes, check this one out. Like, you know, Blair Waldorf probably went here, you know what I'm saying? But either way, I did enjoy it, so 4 out of 5 it shall get. Those are all of the books I read in October. I would love to know what you read in October, what your thoughts and feelings are, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.